Hello, friends, and welcome to your March energy forecast. How are you? I hope you're having a beautiful day. My name is Maria Alejandra. You can also call me MA, and I am a strategic mindset coach who is also an intuitive. And I have stepped into this role of supporting to help us activate into what I call Creatrix consciousness. More on that. And so I'm creating these new monthly energy forecasts where we're going to talk about what I've been picking up, what I've been tapping into, what's available for us throughout the month, some really beautiful dates for us to keep in mind, and some resources that can support you along the way. So if you love this content, definitely stick around. We're going to be talking about March 2021 in this case. And this is part of a series where I'm going to be, again, creating these every month. And there'll also be a newsletter accompanied for whoever's on my email list. So I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you liking and sharing this video because it certainly helps us support the message that you're going to find. So if it's something that resonates with you, I really, really appreciate you giving it a like so that the YouTube algorithm does its magic and helps support more of this content out into the world. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of Creatrix Consciousness, which is what we get to awaken, on behalf of the remembering and reawakening of the divine feminine that is happening so beautifully right now all over the place. And so let's get right into it. In this video, I'm going to talk about, there's three things I want to bring into the conversation around March. One is the energy that I've been feeling, that I've been tapping into for March and April also, but it's beginning now in March. The second point is what I feel, what I've received that we are being called to step into. This is, you can see it as a code that we're meant to reprogram, a code that we're meant to unlock. I call these Creatrix codes. So I'll tell you which one I've been receiving very clearly that we get to unlock during the month of March. And then third, what I'll do is give you some dates that, new moon, full moon, spring equinox, which you might already have on your calendar, but I'm going to give them to you. And also, again, some resources that can support you to really create a luminous and purposeful life. So I don't know if I mentioned my name. My name is Maria Alejandra. You can call me MA, and it's an absolute privilege to be here with you. So let's get right into it. The energy that I've been feeling into, I'm also going to pull an oracle card for us at the end. I was really called to. I had already pulled a card before starting the recording, so I'm going to show you that one. And I'm going to pull another one as we're recording to see what comes up. So let's talk about March. The energy that I've been feeling for March and April, and this is very interesting because from mid last year, from mid 2020, I was feeling this pull towards the energy that we would be experiencing, particularly in March and April. And the word that kept coming up for me was effervescent, this effervescent new energy. And of course, at the time, I was like, effervescent, like, okay, I know what that means, but like what? Mind you, this is mid 2020, right? So we're in the middle of it all. And I kept feeling into March and April, there is this effervescence. So what do I mean by that? And what is the clearer way of looking at that? This is an effervescence and a rising and a bubbling up of who we are, of our voice, of the spark that we want to generate to cause and create something in the world. It's a rise in, I think, clarity. It's astrologically speaking, we're now moving from this very earth energy that we had been in for a while into air and water energy. So air and water equals bubbles, right? So this bubbling, this effervescence. And, as I picked up on this again, last year, I really felt it very clearly. But as we've been approaching this time, it's been getting clearer and clearer. And I'll also give a shout out to Lee Harris has an incredible energy forecast that he does every month. And I was listening to the March one a couple of days ago, and I was like, wow, like it felt very validating because he basically he described it in a similar way using different words, but this idea of this rise. And so what's available for us here is to understand that while right now we are in the midst of a lot of transformation. So transformation comes with expansion and contraction. It comes with breakthroughs. It comes with energies that can be really stretchy for us, that can feel challenging. So it doesn't mean that all of a sudden it's like, yay, everything's great, hunky dory. Like, we're going collectively through some really pivotal, just this rebirthing of so many things. So 2021 will continue to be a year of expansion, contraction, and we will be in this space for the next few years. But what's happening now is that there is an opportunity for you to tap into a space of clarity and, again, this bubbling up of how you are meant to play a clearer part, like the clarity and the role that you're meant to play from this point forward. I also want to point out that March marks for many of us around the world, certainly for those in the US and many other countries as well, March marks the month of the 1 year anniversary kind of lockdown. It really kicked into high gear, mid-March here in the US. So it marks a year of us living in a world where it's completely different from a year ago. Yesterday, I was going through my phone and I saw this memory from March 4th, 2020 of me sitting with two of my best girlfriends from Puerto Rico. I'm from Puerto Rico. Two girlfriends that I've had for a million years. Those girlfriends that you don't see often, but when you see them, it's like you saw them just the day before because your energy is just so connected. I love you, ladies. Dagmar and Jessica, I adore you. So I saw this picture, March 4th, 2020. We were sitting in a little cafe. We had gone to get breakfast in Puerto Rico while I was there visiting my family. And I was like, you guys, this was a year ago. We were like, oh my God, it's crazy. It feels like it's gone both in the blink of an eye and also like it's been 10 years. I mean, let's be real, right? So think of this as a turning point. Honor it as a turning point. Everything that you know, and this is where, again, let me just tap here into Creatrix consciousness. So Creatrix consciousness is a movement, is a way of showing up in the world where we understand that we are co-creating in every single turn. We create the reality that we live in. The Creatrix turns light into form. This is how I describe that energy. So you are a Creatrix when you have this understanding that you, moment by moment, are turning light into form. Now, the simplest way to say that is, what is light? Light is your own signature, your way of being, your experiences, your history, your magic, your own unique, I call it your light print. This is your soul signature. It's the thing that makes you completely unique. Nobody else is like you. So you turn all of that into form, right? So there's almost this alchemical process that happens where we understand that we take all of those gifts, all of that creativity that we have, our experiences, our challenges, our visions, our dreams, our aspirations, and we turn that through really an alchemical process into form. This is what the Creatrix does. And so you have the power to write whatever story you choose to write, regardless of the circumstances happening around you. And I know that might sound like, wait, that doesn't work that way. But actually, yes, it does. And it does because you decide which story you get to write. I was reading Instagram the other day. Someone posted this beautiful little message, and it says, you can trust in the future because you are writing that story. And just think about that. Think about the power of you knowing that you can trust what's coming in the future because you are writing that story. The Creatrix always sees the world from a perspective of how am I interacting with the world, but I'm never a victim of what's happening around me. Yes, circumstances happen. Yes, stuff happens. Life, there's so many things that, everything really is outside of the realm of our true control. Control is an illusion. But we get to understand and really be aligned with the fact that nothing can impact you in such a way where you still don't have the ability to choose how you write your story. Now, will there be times that will render you like you just fall flat on your tush and you're like, I'm down, I'm out for the count. Trust me, I've been there, we've all been there. But there's this ability to understand that a lot of what we're moving through our process is to actually polish us and to actually bring us into a clearer state of understanding our power, our courage, our resilience, our strength, and how we get to tend to ourselves from a space of grace and self-love and self-mastery that comes through knowing who we are, expressing ourselves. We get crunched so that we can practice that muscle of becoming freer and freer through self-expression, through activating who we truly are. And many times, unless we had those experiences, then we wouldn't have the opportunity to emerge, let's say, in those clearer ways. So going back again to the effervescence, right? If whoever out there is going through a difficult time, my heart is with you. We are in this together. And sometimes there's no amount of things other people could say to make us feel relieved. And I know that. And you get to resource yourself, and you get to ask others to hold space for you, and you get to be in a space where but also know that this too shall pass, and that you are way stronger and more resilient than your darkest day. And so, but for anybody out there who is really feeling, and this is something again that parallels what Lee was sharing in his forecast that I found so like I got all the chills, because it gave word to this effervescent rise that I had been feeling into. It's about your rise. It's about your individual bubbling up. It's about you choosing to honor what's in those, let's say, imagine them like bubbles of light that are coming up from you. And you get to choose to actually let them like emerge. Now, here's what happens, and here's where your ego might have a conversation around this, is it might go, wait a minute, but if you let those bubbles emerge, if you let that light emerge, then what will other people say? Because we have been accustomed, we have this default, old school, just really crappy belief, to be quite honest, that says that being in pain is something that like unites us. Now, let me get clear on this, because witnessing others in their pain and being empathetic and connecting with others is just one of the most beautifully human things we can do, right? But there is a difference between being there and holding space for someone and multiplying and commiserating with them in pain. And so a lot of the conversation that happens for the woman who is emerging into her, like awakening her inner creatrix, is this thing that says, wow, if I shine my light a little brighter, other people are going to judge me, or other people are going to think that I don't know what I'm talking about, or other people will misconstrue what this is. I'll have to explain why I'm happy, why I feel. And when I say happy, I mean you feel on purpose. You feel like, you're doing beautiful things in the world, even though you're going through challenging things. It's one of the biggest things that we can transcend as women is this notion that we've got to dim ourselves, that we got to dim ourselves, not only dim ourselves, but actually like then amp up the pain and the whole, like, the classic story when somebody asks, how's your day going? And it's like, well, whatever. We tend to do that because we've seen that as kind of a badge of honor. The busier my calendar is, the busier I say it is, the busier I say I am, the more overwhelmed I say I am, it ties to my value. Let's rewrite that story. That is not where your value lies. Your value lies in your truth, in your voice, in your ability to activate your own sense of who you are and bring it out into the world. And there is no measure of that because it's very unique to you. And so let's allow ourselves to let those bubbles emerge. And let's celebrate them in others. Let's celebrate that effervescence in others. That spirit of, I see a vision beyond where we are right now. I see it, I'm holding it, and I choose to speak it into existence. Let's hold the energy of where we are going rather than where we've been. Let's honor where we've been. Let's integrate where we've been, right? But let's hold the vision of where we are going. And for those of you that feel right now like, wow, this is the time where something is clicking inside of me that must see the light of day, just honor it. Honor that feeling, because that is spirit calling that, like sparking that within you so that it can keep growing. And one of the most courageous things you can do right now, as I wrap up this whole conversation about that, one of the most courageous things you could do right now is to lean into that, effervescent, illuminating quality. It doesn't mean you're not going to have crappy days. It doesn't mean you're not going to have days when you just want to crawl under the sheets and just like, cocoon yourself for 24 hours. However, there is an overarching sense of possibility that you are looking to birth. Why? Because we've recalibrated ourselves. And we're now kind of like, it's like that, again, think about effervescent, like this emerging, like cracking open the chrysalis of the butterfly, where the butterfly begins to like see like, oh, there's something here. Like that might be what you're experiencing. So allow yourself to honor that. You don't have to go back in order to be accepted. You don't have to go back. A song I recommend you listen to, and this will be part of these forecasts, is I always get like these songs that come downloaded. I'm like, that's the song. It's Come Alive from the Greatest Showman soundtrack. And one of the lines is all about knowing that you can't go back to the world, that things can't go back to the world the way they used to be. I'm totally butchering it. But that line is so pivotal, I think, for these times. And that song speaks about like, come alive. Like you've been a zombie and now it's like, open your eyes. Like declare that you are here and that you are dreaming with eyes wide open. Dreaming with eyes wide open is a radically courageous stance, and it is the way of the Creatrix. We get to choose to dream and to live with eyes wide open. It doesn't mean we bypass our pain. It means we lean into each moment, understanding that we have the ability to move moment by moment with focus and flexibility through every experience that we choose or that is dealt to us that maybe we didn't think we chose, although our soul did. But that's a conversation for another video. Did that land? Let me know in the comments what you picked up from that. Let's go into the second point. And in each of these videos, I'm also, again, going to, the Creatrix codes are these downloads of themes of something that it comes through me that I am, what I trust, right, is that I get to share this forward, and whoever picks it up and resonates with it, awesome. If it doesn't for you, then just let it go. Like, there's something else. But there's always this thing that we're being called into. And what we're being called to activate during the month of March is our visibility. And I want you to think about visibility in a couple of layers. There's the obvious visibility of like, hey, if you're someone who's been wanting to do a video on Instagram or post something, maybe you just starting your channel and you're just getting content out there, or you've had your Instagram, YouTube, Facebook for, you've been producing content for a while, but you're being called to kind of like double down and take something to the next level. Something's coming through you that you're like, wow, if only I had the courage, the ovaries to say this and this and this. That's visibility, right? So it's either the first time or it's a next level. Visibility also has to do with, and again, it ties to the March energy with this idea of dreaming with eyes wide open and this effervescence. So opening your eyes to your own truth. I'm talking about looking at yourself in the mirror and accepting and acknowledging the magnificence that you are. The fact that you are a gift to this world, The fact that you are a blessing. You are a blessing. And if there's something you can take away and right from this portion of our video, it's tell yourself, look yourself in the mirror and say, I am a blessing to this world every morning, and go to bed with those words, like kissing your lips. I am a blessing to this world because you are, because I am. I use this mantra myself. I remind myself I am a blessing to this world because the questions that come when we are blazing new paths, when we see the world through different eyes, right, are so many. And it takes a lot of like that consistent reminding ourselves of our center, of our truth, of the fact that you are a blessing to the world, that your unique gifts aren't just there for you to have fun with, although certainly they get to be very joyful, and that's the whole point. Divine Feminine shows us that we get to lean into our gifts and what we are naturally wired to do and create, and that in itself is a complete gift, that we no longer have to equate struggle with worth. Let's equate authenticity. Like, you're worthless. You're worthless. Oh my God, that was so weird. Wow. You are worthy. Whew. Let's take a moment here. I'm not going to edit that out. I was like, should I edit that out? No. You are worthy. This is how the programming works. It's like, ooh, that's a conversation I've been having with myself over and over again around receiving, around knowing that I am a blessing. You are worthy. We are worthy. I am worthy. No matter what, like we are intrinsically worthy. What is worthless is the stories we've been fed around worth and what we equate with worth. The struggle, the working hard, the more aspects of the masculine and the patriarchal stories that have been pushed on us for, a couple thousand years that no longer serve us and won't be sustainable anymore. Now, Creatrix, this is a good moment to also state that Creatrix consciousness is actually the neutral point between the divine feminine and the divine masculine, because in her truest essence, the Creatrix actually holds both energies because it is a whole. There really isn't a split. There are certain characteristics and certain traits that our mind can kind of conceive for each divine feminine, divine masculine, but in Creatrix consciousness, they are truly unified. And so we are constantly looking for this sweet spot between what I call your inner drive and your divine wisdom, the strategy and the intuition, the vision of what we can do and the vision of who we get to be, and then all of the beautiful work that goes through that. So, and again, visibility is very, very tied to worth. Am I worthy of being seen? Am I worthy of sharing my gifts? We tend to compare ourselves. We tend to get blocked with, other people are doing the same thing. Who makes me qualified to do this? Who am I to want to do this? Like all of these thoughts that I hear all the time from incredible women that I have had myself. And I've done a lot of beautiful work of introspection and a lot of deep transformative work where those thoughts are no longer gripping me. They don't show up in my life the way they used to, where they downright paralyzed me. They've morphed into something else. And it's been so freeing to move through that process. But when I tell you that I know what that feels like, I totally do. So we are being called forth into visibility. Now, the resources that, and again, here's what I'll say. If you are someone who is feeling called to amplify your visibility, the best thing that I have found is to put yourself on some sort of a visibility stretch. It's what I call a visibility stretch. I've done it with my clients many times. And this is basically you declaring that you're going to show up in some capacity, either public or private, right? But you're going to show up and use your voice in a way you haven't used it before. Again, if you're someone who has been wanting to start doing videos on some social media platform, go ahead and put yourself on a stretch where for a few days you declare, I'm going to show up on a certain period of time at this time of day, and you're going to either record a video and post it, or you're going to go live, or you're going to share a post on the feed. Again, same goes for YouTube videos, Facebook, anywhere that you're like, there's a platform where you can use your voice. And for some of you, it might be, I'm going to record a private video for myself for the next 7 days. It's not meant to go to anybody else, but I will become more and more acquainted with using my voice, with seeing myself on camera. Even if you don't have aspirations of being on camera later on, which it might come up as something that becomes a little bit easier for you. But just the ability to see yourself and to witness yourself and get over the fears and constrictions that we put on ourselves around, or that we feel around, I don't like hearing my voice, or I don't like being on camera, I don't like seeing myself, et cetera, et cetera. So put yourself on a bit of a visibility stretch. And if you're looking to really activate your visibility at a different level, then we have some really incredible resources happening in the Creatrix Collective, which is my month-to-month membership. And that is a beautiful, beautiful space of sisterhood, of focus, clarity, of mindset, magic, and momentum. And one of the things that I have been called to do and to create are, every month I do a channeling on the code of the month, in this case, visibility. And I offer a meditation. The meditation we have on right now is called It's Safe to Be Seen. And then throughout the month, we basically look at all the different, we weave visibility, we weave that code throughout all the experiences we're having, so that we can work through it together and really have deeper study around it. So that's, if it's something that rings true for you, check that out. I'll leave the link below. So visibility, we are being called to step forward into visibility. What is, a couple questions to ask yourself. What is your relationship right now with visibility? What do you feel in your body when you hear this? What comes up for you? What are the immediate resistance points that come up as you hear this, right? And trust. Trust that we receive certain things in our lives at moments when they may not click right then and there, or they may either click like, oh my God, it's like you're reading your mind, or you're reading my mind, or they may not fully click, but there's something about them that makes us curious. It might be because that particular code for you is kind of in mid-bloom, or in the initial stages of blooming. Speaking of blooming, let me tell you about some of the dates, the important dates that we have going on in March. We have the new moon in Pisces on March 13th. We have the full moon in Libra on March 28th. And right in the middle, as if designed by some cosmic perfection, of course, we have the spring equinox on March 20th. So the way I received, and just to give you a little behind the scenes of how I receive a lot of the information, how I tap in, I've learned to trust more and more the downloads that I get, the intuitive hits that I get, the information that comes through, what I pick up from being in meditation, or in my daily life, or in what I'm studying. There's always something, right? And I weave all of those pieces through. And what I feel that my role is to trust myself, to receive it, weave it together, and then share it forward in a way that feels hopefully coherent for you to be able to process, embody, activate, bring into your life, and that supports where you are in this moment in your journey. So it's a combination of things. Meditation, I work with a certain group of guides. I'll tell you more about those on the next few videos. I go into my Akashic record. I'm very open to the multiple sources of how information comes through. And one of the things I picked up, and this was when I went in my Akashic record on Sunday, is that I am meant to help whoever is called to be on it. I'm meant to help us create a bridge between the new moon in Pisces, the spring equinox, and the full moon, right? So the new moons are all about blank slate, plant the seeds, set the intentions, the theme that I've been picking up for this new moon and the theme of the event that I'm hosting, I host Creatrix Circles for every new moon and full moon. The theme is a new day, a new day. And when you pair that with what I was talking about earlier, it marks like a year of our of being in lockdown in many parts of the world, a new day. That effervescent energy, a new day. The living with eyes wide open, dreaming with eyes wide open, right? There's this sense of new. And the Piscean energy is very connected to our emotions. It's very, very intuitive. So the opportunity we have here, and by the way, I'm wearing my mermaid leggings in honor of the new moon in Pisces. The opportunity that we have here is to actually tap into a deeper state of intuitive consciousness to declare and cultivate what's coming. And further, what I am being called to help us activate during this new moon in particular is our Alta Major Chakra. The Alta Major Chakra is in the back of your neck, at the top of your spine. And so what we will be doing during that particular new moon Creatrix Circle is that. I'll leave the link below for the Creatrix Circle and where you can join up. And also all of the circles and pretty much all of the events that I create are included in the Creatrix Collective membership. So you can experience all the things and save a ton of amazing money for other beautiful things if you join us in the collective space. So that's the new moon in Pisces. Then we're walking the bridge, right? We're walking this like starry bridge into the spring equinox, also known as Ostara. Ostara is a Sabbat. Part of what I'm being called to honor for myself this year is the wheel of the year. And so part of what I'm weaving into the conversation for us is honoring the wheel of the year. Spring equinox, of course, marks the beginning of spring. It's a time of new beginnings. It's a time of rebirth. It's a time of flowering and blooming. It's a time of creation. So we bridge this creation from the new moon into the spring equinox. And for that event, I'm actually collaborating with two incredible soul sisters, and we're going to create this beautiful event called Womb Bloom. That event is also included in the membership, but you can opt into it separately. The link will be down below. Womb Bloom, where we're going to do some really beautiful deep work on healing of your creatrix center, your womb. That one's going to be really powerful. They're all powerful, but this one's, I have a feeling. And again, because it's a special point in time, again, in the wheel of the year, it's going to be just really, really magnificent. And then the full moon in Libra. Libra is a sign that symbolizes harmony. It symbolizes relationships and partnerships. And so the energy that I am encouraging us to activate and cultivate during this time is that of creation through collaboration. Creation through collaboration. That is the theme of the full moon Creatrix Circle this month. And the intention for that and what we will be working through and healing is actually our sister wounds. That's like a whole other video, but our sister wounds are a lot of what keeps us in a state of competition over collaboration. So we get to dissolve those so that we can step more powerfully into the future. Creatrix consciousness almost requires us to work together. It is an energy it's not sustained by yourself. It's work you get to do by yourself, but you get to do it like with yourself, but you get to do it in community, which very much mirrors the Aquarian energy that we've stepped into, right? So creation through collaboration. I'm going to give you some ideas on how to collaborate. And for those that are in the Creatrix Collective membership, we will be opening up the space for collaborative opportunities so that you can either take, what you're creating to the next level or birth something completely new with one of your sisters. So those are the three main events that I wanted to mention that are applicable for everybody. A couple of other opportunities in terms of events that you can tap into are weekly co-working sessions that we do every Tuesday. Those are so good. And they're a really wonderful space for you to get focus and clarity around what you're building with incredible women. And then I'm going to do a private hot seat, like group coaching kind of call with, again, the membership. So if you're interested in getting a little bit of that, like, interaction, go ahead and check it out and maybe try it out for a month. You have nothing to lose and a whole world of amazingness and deliciousness to gain. So effervescence, visibility, and really working with the key dates that can help us, that can align with the natural energies of the cosmos and of Mother Earth. Weaving all of these things together has been so transformative for me in my life. I was someone who worked in a corporate setting for many, many years. I was a rock star executive who kept growing up the corporate ladder, climbing up the corporate ladder. And I really value the time that I spent with that company and all of the things I learned, all the incredible people I met. But it wasn't until I chose to remember the truth of who I am and to live like that every day, to lean into that remembering, that my life completely transformed. And even with really, really, really challenging circumstances around me and my family, my husband has a rare disease that has completely altered the course of our life. And even with that reality, that daily, minute by minute reality that I live in, that we both live in, I have never felt more free. So that is a true testament to what it means to really cultivate your mindset, magic, and momentum, which is what I want to shout from the rooftops. So I really hope this video served you. I'll pull a card. Oh, and I'll show you the card I pulled before. But I really hope this video served you. Again, if you liked it, like it. If you received this in one of my emails, let me know what you thought about it. I'd love to hear so that I can continue creating really great content for you guys in the future. Lots more to come. This is the card that I pulled for us before starting the video. It is a leap card. This is from the Work Your Light deck by Rebecca Campbell. It says, "You go first. The universe will catch you." And what a beautiful, beautiful message. And then I have here the Wisdom of the Oracle deck by Colette Baron Reed. Let's just go ahead and pull one card to see. A card for March. A card for March, something that we get to, something that we get to notice, something that the Spirit wants to make sure we don't lose sight of during the month of March. Let's put it that way. Okay, there are two cards. Okay, so we were talking about spring equinox and Ostara. And Ostara is all about Easter. It's where Easter comes from. Even though Easter is in April, it comes from that. Look at this. We have the egg. This is the peace card, number 23. Look at this. A beautiful dove. So Spirit wants us to remember to be in peace. Be in peace. Cultivate your inner peace and cultivate peace among those that are around you. We have so much power within us to literally shift the fabric of time and space around us. That's very quantum, I know, but I believe it. It's true. And then look at this glorious card. It's Unfinished Symphony. And again, that also happens to look like an egg. It's number 10, and you have a clown and a keyboard. When I see this Unfinished Symphony right away, it just reminds me to honor and have grace around the fact that we will always be an unfinished symphony, that you get to take action and you get to leap even when you feel like you are an unfinished symphony, especially if you are, because this is a way of living that will change your life. To know, to honor that life is a constant experiment. Life is a constant experiment. It's a constant unfinished symphony. We tend to see things from this lens of, when I have this done, then I will do that, launch that, say that, express that, and then it doesn't happen. We procrastinate it. Our perfectionism gets the best of us. I've been there. I've done that. And let's give ourselves the opportunity to honor the unfinished symphony within ourselves and within others. So what I'm hearing loud and clear is to the energy of self-criticism that might be tied to your visibility is to really give yourself an opportunity to heal that this month and find the resources where you can heal that. The self-criticism that is holding you back from visibility. Okay, then I will leave some links down below where you can find me. Again, I hope you like and subscribe if you found this nourishing and useful. I will be back April 1st or 2nd with our April forecast. I'll feel into the energies there. I'm already getting a sense of what we get to activate, but I'm going to feel a lot more into it so that I can have a really good, proper video to support you with. You can find me in the Rise of the Creatrix free community, which the link will be down below. And again, if you want to take things a step further, I would love to see you in the Creatrix Collective. It is a beautiful emerging space. And you can also find me on Instagram. Come say hello. I'm sending you so much love and light and stardust always. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.